As an entrepreneur, it's really important that you have the ability to separate your emotions from your actions. In situations like, I'll give you some real examples that I've had in the past, when a stock take is done and you are 600 orders the wrong way on your stock control, or a piece of equipment in your production line breaks and all of a sudden your output halves, or when a tax bill came out unexpectedly and your bank account just went to minus £50,000 and it's payday in a week and you've got 17 people to pay whose lives depend on that. Situations like this, it's really important. You can't just melt down. You can't just stop. So how do we do it? And I have a story from a friend of mine that I didn't notice. So we had a situation in our chocolate factory where we doubled revenue 3 months running. So for some quick maths, that's 8x revenue in 3 months. And we manufactured everything ourselves. That is a really tough challenge if you're not prepared for it, which we weren't. And so I called up one of my friends from school and was like, hey dude, are you doing anything? And he was like, not really. And I'm like, cool, can you just drop your entire life and move out here? So he did. He was like, I can get there tomorrow. So he quit his life, came out. I taught him to be a professional chocolatier, and then he worked about 50 hours a week for us for about 6 weeks until we managed to get everything back under control. But in that time period, we had just caught up a really nasty stock delay issue that I mentioned earlier, and we felt finally caught up and we were about to do something awesome, and then the chocolate machine blew up, smoke puff out the back, and we're like, oh God, how can we do this? And anyway, he almost melted down, had a panic attack. I just was silent for about 60 seconds, was doing some mental maths, and I was like, right, if you and I pull double shifts and we temper this by hand now, we do a split shift so the other 2 chocolatiers come in later, we have just enough manpower to meet the demand. And in the meantime, I'll call the manufacturers and see if we can get a new machine. So we just turned on the microwaves and went. And I didn't know this until like a month later, but that really stuck with him. And I'm not sure if I told the story exactly right. I've got it written down somewhere because it was just one of those things. I was like, oh my God, I didn't even notice. So today I was listening to the Alex Hormozy and Paul Logan interview, and Hormozy said something really profound that I loved. And it was 3 things to check, or a checklist to go through when you have a bad experience like this. So first of all, logic. So you've had the situation, okay, let's go through what caused this, what effect does it have, what do we have to do? Okay, let's just remove all emotion, figure out the pieces. Then the next one is evidence. What evidence do you have that this thing happened? So like in the talk today, you gave an example of someone getting hate and getting upset about it, right? So he was like, well, logically, okay, this person has had some nasty stuff said about me. Okay, cool. The evidence is I can see the posts that they put there, like this definitely happened. In like a business context, if someone comes to you with a disaster, you go, okay, show me the evidence. What's made you think this? Is this actually what was said? Is this actually what they meant? And so like, did they mention it to you? Did you misinterpret it, etc., etc.? And then the last point is, what's the utility of your response? Does this response help you? So in the context of unnecessary, unprovoked hate, no, it doesn't help you at all. So forget about it, right? It's probably from someone who has no reference that you don't care about. It's just someone who is being a keyboard warrior. And with our example of the chocolate factory, I was just thinking, going through these steps, what was happening. So logic, okay, we've just halved our production speed. We've got 5 days worth to catch up on. How can we physically do this? Let's just test it. If we do double hours, oh, okay, that works. Right. Evidence. Just want to make sure, is the machine actually broken? Yes, I've tested it. Okay. What's the utility? If I sit here and do nothing, like tens of thousands of pounds worth of refunds and issues. This is a big deal. So you don't have time to feel pressure, just go. And it worked out. So yeah, hopefully that story is going to be a fun one for me to look back on. I know I didn't tell it perfectly, but an interesting one for you guys to see the sort of stuff that we've had to go through throughout our journey and how we can deal with such pressurized situations like that. You know, we've had situations in the past where the next payroll is coming up and we've had a few bad months in a row and we've overscaled, and it's like, we buried our head in the sand and we were like, oh God, the next payroll, if we don't get rid of people, the company's dead. So then the next day, 6 people had to go. And it's shit like that that's the reality of business. Not every day, thankfully, but more than you'd like. So hopefully that's a good way you can think about it, is logic, evidence, utility. So it's a nice little framework Alex came up with, and I should look into that again to make sure I actually got it right, because I think I have misquoted some of it. But there you go. Have a good evening. Peace.